Alright, so for episode 4 of Porsche 2000, aka Porsche Unleashed, we are now going to get started with evolution mode. And the reason why I'm constantly switching modes from the main menu is because I don't want to cause another demo race to load up. And of course, as you can tell, we have no saved data, so we need to create a new game. And gonna go with the first 4 letters of my first name, basically doing the same as what I did in factory driver mode. I should also mention I did turn down the music a bit in case if there was going to be the risk of copyrights, but I'm pretty sure music in this game is not copyrighted, but I decided to turn it down a bit. And so this is our introduction to evolution mode, and our first of 3 eras, the classic era. Welcome to the classic era. Be sure to visit the Porsche Center to buy a car. I'm sure I will. So we start off with 12,000 credits. We have 3 different race modes here. We've obviously got tournament mode, weekend races, and circuit racing. And we've also got home. That's basically where we can view our garage, or garage as we call it in the UK, and also trophy room. And the Porsche Center is basically where we can basically buy new or used cars. So I'm going to head over to the standard used car lot because I figure it would be easier for me to get my first car for something cheap. And after doing some in-depth research, I've discovered I cannot start off this game with the 356. So my preferable choice is to start off with the 914, which is basically the other first car we can afford. As I'm looking through all of the used cars we have available, and they're all separated into their separate classes. We get Class 3, Class 2, and Class 1. And we will of course be using at least 1 car from each class as we go along. And well, I think I'm going to start off with the 914 just because I figure it's the preferable choice. So that's what we're doing. So top speed of 110 miles an hour, takes 13 seconds to get from 0 to 60, flat 4 1.7 litre engine, 80 brake horsepower and 98 pounds-feet of torque with 2700 RPM and an overall weight of nearly 2,000 pounds. I can tell what those signs are. And this is the condition our car is currently in. Of course, I will repair it. And I'm going to get this 914 because this car will technically be our best place to start. So now that we've got the car, if I head over to the garage and go to the repair section, might as well get the repairs on the board whilst I'm here because I can afford them. And yes, I shall repair the car now. And we can also paint the car for an additional £1,000, but obviously I'm not prepared to risk that much money this early, so yeah. And just because I really want to get some money on the board, I am going to start off with tournament mode. And even though this car might be overpowered, I also don't want to use a car that's woefully underpowered. So we have 3 tournaments here, Class 3, Class 2 and Class 1. We will of course go through each of those as we go along. And the circuits we're going to include Fortress Village, Riviera and Desert Valley. On the left hand side is our opponents, and on the right hand side underneath the racers we get the winnings for first, second and third. And our opponents include Hound, Rage, Swift, Brawn, Blaze, Chump and Shadow, I think. So that's where we're going to start. And yes, I am going to use the 914, it's in perfect condition for this thing. And now, we shall go and race. And I am officially going to enter the first session here, which is Novice. I'm also pretty sure this is going to be quite easy, so might as well do the Novice difficulty first before doing the harder difficulty. And this will also be the only time I'm going to show off qualifying because I figure it's necessary. So we're starting off at Fortress Village in Germany, and each of us are driving our own 914s. I can also say we are all driving individual models because we're all in different colours. And well, here we go.
1, go!
It is now time for me to basically get one lap around the racetrack so I can at least get used to the surroundings in front of me. I should also mention the AI are also qualifying on the same asphalt whilst I'm here. And the reason I'm doing the Novice difficulty is simply because I figure since I've never done this before, I might as well give myself an easy start. Now, am I probably going to get complaints for this being too easy? Maybe, maybe not. But either way, I'm still here to at least prove I do manage to show off some of the most important details in the game. And that's precisely what I'm doing. I also don't know how long this track is going to be, but I would assume it's probably not going to be too long. I would imagine it's not going to be too hard for me to get around this joint. I'm also pretty sure this was in the factory driver part of the game I just did, because I'm pretty sure that section I just passed there was the slalom section. And I basically racked past both of those guys who were right in front of me. Not precisely what I wanted to do, but either way, this is literally my first time of doing this, basically ever. So you probably can expect these sorts of mistakes coming from me, because I've not done this before until now. I'm also pretty sure my qualifying time is going to be significantly faster than the rest of the field, the way I see it.
It's the final lap.
And the first lap time I set was a 1 minute 56.5. And I might as well set a second lap time whilst I'm here, because I figure this is going to be the only time I showcase qualifying. I've also established the 356 is clearly not the car to start with, so that's why I chose the 914. This thing might be overpowered, but at the same time I don't want to use a car that's woefully underpowered, which is basically what I learned from trying to do an event with my 356. So it's probably easier for me to start off with the 914 than it is with the 356. And not just because it's newer, but because the car itself is much faster. And closing in on another 914. Can I manage to pass him before the line? Yeah. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter because I just wrecked myself. I almost cleared him, but sadly that had to happen at the worst possible time. But it doesn't matter because I still qualify on the pole in spite of my ghastly efforts, and I made it to the pole by nearly 2.5 seconds over Rage in the end of that. Although I guess part of the reason for that is because of the difficulty.
3, 2, 1, go!
So I have got a bit of damage, but again, I don't think it really matters too much at this stage because I do want this to be easy to start with so I can at least get used to how the physics work. I would imagine I've got some pretty significant damage on this thing, but at least I can say I did not waste all of my 12k speculating over which car I should and shouldn't buy, because I did make sure to do research before starting this, and apparent as it might be, the 914 is clearly the better choice to start with for the classic era compared to the 356. And yes, I did do research to be sure of this because I figured this is what needed to be done. I know this is on the novice difficulty, but either way, as I said before, I'm only doing this once because I want to at least get used to how the physics work and also about how I'm able to adapt to this game.
It's the final lap.
And it's only a 2-lap race. I think it's probably the same with the other two as well. But I at least found out after doing some research that the 914 is clearly the better choice to start with compared to the 356. And I'm basically not asking you to start off with this car, I'm literally telling you. I'm also quite sure I'm never going to do this on the advanced difficulty again. Sorry, never going to do this on the novice difficulty again. Just to correct myself. But anyway, going well so far. I am basically dominating this race because I'm doing this on the novice difficulty. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me if the advanced difficulty is more or less the same. I've heard evolution mode in this game is pretty easy altogether. I don't think it's really going to take me too long to get these races done, so yeah, race 1 done.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
Thank you. I basically annihilated the competition on the novice difficulty because I won by... oh yeah, so I get 6 points and 2,000 credit rewards, and in the end of that I won by 38 seconds over Rage. And don't think I'm going to get my replay footage yet because, well, I want to do this with a better looking car than what I already have. So what I've established is I'm not going to do this on the novice difficulty again because to all intents and purposes I think that would be stupid. I also don't think the advanced difficulty is going to be much of a challenge either, so yeah. So, 6 points to me, as I won the first race, and Blaze at the moment is the current leader, but I should be able to catch up to him. So it's now time for us to head over to Riviera. Since I ultimately now know it is not advisable for me to do the novice difficulty. So, got some repair work to do here. It is going to be expensive, but I will get that money back again. And looks as though everything is back to normal, and don't really think I should bother with qualifying since I've now shown that off. And again, it's another dry race here at Riviera, and I'm going up against a bunch of 356s. So something tells me this is going to be easy. So yes, we are doing this the easy way. I've also established it's not recommendable for me to do the novice difficulty. But here we are then at Riviera.
2, 1, go!
That's not what I wanted to do, but either way I still managed to squeeze my way up into the lead. I'm basically going to dominate from here, the way I see it. And shifting down just so I don't hit anything. And I just saw another fly above my forehead, which I'm probably going to have to kill in a few minutes, but either way, I'm still racing. So, another track I've never driven before, but doesn't really matter because, well, to be completely honest, I am just here basically in domination mode, and I just hit a sign. Well, at least I can say I have not caused any significant damage yet. And not really doing a very good job of showcasing my dominance at the moment, but either way, I am basically dominating this race. It also looks as though I'm going to win this race by quite some margin over the 356s that are in this race.
It's the final lap.
So one lap is down, as I'm basically on the rev limiter with this thing. I wonder if I might be braking a little too early for that corner. Well, probably doesn't matter, but... oh, for fuck's sake. I am doing a very poor job at the moment of keeping my car on track. But then again, I wouldn't have done this on the novice difficulty because, well, I want to at least prove I can get a perfect score whilst I'm here. And that's basically what it is I'm trying to do. Even though my first race was on the novice difficulty, and it probably didn't need to be. Well, in case if I need to try this again, I'll probably know the reason why now. But yeah. And I'm so glad to say I did not qualify for this, because I basically knew I was going to dominate.
Congratulations! You've won the race!
I've dominated the race. Dominated it by 27 seconds, and I think part of the reason for that is because, well, I hit the lamppost after the roundabout. But yeah, anyways. So, trying to see if I can get some thumbnail evidence of my 914, because I figured this is necessary. Oh yeah. That was a tricky one. Not really seeming to get that many good shots of this thing at the moment. Really don't know what to use for my clickbait at this stage. Well, I'll think of something. But either way, not really getting many good shots of this thing at the moment. Well, that was probably a good shot there because it drove straight through me. Oh yeah, that... Okay, moving on. I don't want you to see the moment when I got stuck with the lamppost. I don't want you to see that. But anyways, 2 races down and still 1 to go. As I've now established, the advanced difficulty is clearly the better one. So I am now tied for the lead with Blaze. We are both on 16 points. Swift is in 3rd, ahead of Rage, and then there's the rest of the order. And now we move on to our final race at Desert Valley. And of course I am going to go with this one because I now know what to do. So Desert Valley we go. I'm also going to repair the car as well, and surprisingly nowhere near as much damage as I thought there was going to be. There was only really damage to the brakes in that whole thing, in spite of me hitting... aside from me hitting a road sign along with a lamppost. Well, aside from me hitting a warning sign and a lamppost. Still, that was nowhere near as much damage as I thought that was going to be. And once again, I'm going up against a crew of 356s, so something tells me I am going to dominate.
3, 2, 1, go!
I think I've pretty much got full confidence now in saying this is going to be domination. I'm also going to try and make sure that I do... Okay, that was not very helpful. But anyway. I do now manage to get to the front of the pack after basically 2 90-degree corners. As I am here now in Desert Valley, I'm going to assume it must be Death Valley in California, is what this place is meant to resemble, and I'm pretty sure that's a level crossing, but anyway. Doing well so far. And probably using the brakes a little more than I need to be here. But either way, things are still going relatively well. I personally did not think the 356s were going to be in these final 2 races compared to when I had the 914s. So something tells me this is going to be another easy win. This is the longest of the 3 tracks we have now been to in this game.
It's the final lap.
in the Class 1 tournament. And I'm honestly glad to say I did start this off with the 914, because it is pretty clear to say that the 914 is the best car of all of us. And that's precisely what I chose after doing research. So, aside from my qualifying miscue, the only other thing I can really say that was a problem with this was the number of times I crashed in the first two races compared to this one. But aside from that, it's basically been a slow and easy ride, the way I see it. And overshot that corner just a little bit, but either way, still trying to see if I can keep my car on track, and so far everything is working out quite well. And there we go, domination in the last two races.
You set a new course and lap record. Congratulations, you've won the race.
I did not think I set a new course and lap record. Interesting. And my best lap time was 21 seconds quicker than Hound in the 356A. And I annihilated them by 28 seconds in the end. Okay, anyways. Already got my thumbnail evidence, and I think that's pretty much it for the Class 1 tournament as far as I know, so I'm basically just going to get some big bucks as a result of me winning this, as far as I know. And that's precisely what's going to happen here. So there we go. 26 points in the end of that, won by 4 points over Blaze, then Swift was third, followed by Chump in the first of the 914s, Hound finishes fifth, with Rage, both of them tied for 5th in their respective cars. Shadow was 7th in the last of the 914s, and Braun finishes last in the 356. Well, sucks to be him, I guess. Anyway, we move on. And I get an additional 15 grand for winning. Those are your final stats. And domination in those two races basically decided this. So yeah. So now I will head over to the trophy room, because I figure I have to. But there's our first trophy. The Class 3 trophy of the Classic era. And now I must save the game before our next event. So that's what I'm going to do to end this off. So going to save the game now and basically give it the same name I've given everything else at this stage in the game. And yes, I will in fact save it now. Okay. One down, many more to go. Let's continue.